All right, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, everyone. Great to see you, everyone here at the building and everyone online. Thank you for joining us. So my name is Josh. I am the Financial Education and Community Partnerships Manager here for California Coast Credit Union. It's a mouthful. We're happy that all of you can join us. A few housekeeping items that I want to talk about before we introduce our speakers. So as we move along, if you have any questions, please feel free to raise your hand and we will run a mic over to you so that you can use the mic to ask your questions so that the people online can hear what we're saying. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. And then also we have Vicky in the back here at our CalCoast table with the orange tablecloth. She's doing a raffle for those of you that are here in attendance. We're going to be raffling off a $50 Visa gift card at the end. So make sure you enter the raffle if you haven't already. On your chair, there's a couple things. Again, for those of you that are here in the room, there's a waiver and an evaluation form. So the waiver is basically for this gentleman right over here with the camera. This is Ray. Ray is our social media guy. So he's going to be taking some photos. And the waiver just says, yeah, I'm okay being on your social media. I like being a celebrity. Because, you know, we have a lot of followers, right? 12,000, something like that. If you decide you would like to refrain from being in any photos, that's fine as well. Just let Ray or myself know, and we'll make sure to take care of that for you. But if you are okay being in the photos, please sign the waiver, and we'll collect those at the end. Also, we'll collect at the end the evaluation form. We appreciate your feedback. So please fill that out. We'll collect both of those right up here as you're leaving. And that will help us the evaluation form will help us to improve as we go and continue to do more workshops. This is our first workshop for this year. We're going to do one a month. So keep an eye out for the emails. This is just one of 12 topics we're going to focus on this year. So feel free to check out our website. You probably went there to sign up, calcoastcu.org. Has all the workshops up there now. Let's see. Also, if you didn't sign in when you came in, please make sure to do so before you leave. And finally, restrooms. If you need to use the restroom, the men's is right out this door here to the right to my left, your right. The women's is through the lobby where you came in behind a door that requires a key. So if you would like to use the women's, yes, it's just by chance. There's nothing, there's no reasoning behind that. That's just how it is here at the building. If you need to use the women's, come and see one of us with CalCoast. Ray and myself, Allie, raise your hand over here. She can help you out. We can get you over there. All right. Okay, so that's all I have, I think. I had to write it all down. That was a lot. I'd like to now introduce our speaker for today. So we have Taralyn Rose, who's going to talk to us about budgeting for this year, 2020. Taralyn is a certified financial counselor with California Coast Credit Union. She's been with CalCoast for 15 years. 19 years. I always get it wrong. Sorry, Taralyn. 19 years. She always says, she'll tell you about her situation, but she always says she was kind of her first client, if you will. And she's amazing. She is a wealth of knowledge in budgeting, credit scores, dealing with debt, anything financially related, she can help you out. And as a member, if you are a member of CalCoast, it's a free service. You can contact her anytime and spend some time with her one-on-one and talk about whatever you would like to talk about, financially related. And maybe personal too. She might, she'll probably be your buddy too. Yeah. So anyway, without further ado, I want to bring up Taralyn, and she's going to talk to us about budgeting for 2020.
Am I on? Everybody can hear me? Fantastic. Thank you so much for being here. This is one of my favorite topics to talk about, especially at the beginning of the year. It is a fresh start, a clean slate. We get to look at everything with fresh eyes. We also have all this information that we've gathered from the last year. Again, like I said, I have been actually doing financial counseling since 2008. I was the first client. When I first started, I owed $46,000 in credit card debt, not counting my car loan. I have twins. No one ever taught me how to manage my money. And if I needed something, there goes the credit card, right? So what we're going to talk about today are some steps to creating a plan for budgeting. And notice I don't use the word budgeting. I actually hate that word. For me, budgeting is like being on a diet. Can't have pizza, can't have donuts. Has anybody ever been to S.M.A.R.T, Mary Donuts? They have Bavarian cream filled donut bites covered in powdered sugar. So delicious. you've got to put that into your life, right? Same thing with this budgeting concept, this idea like you can't go to vacation, you can't go hang out with your friends. Like, I am kind of rebellious. Even if I tell myself that, I'm like, oh yeah, watch me. There we go, right? So we're going to talk about these steps to creating a plan. A plan is a more powerful word. A plan is you in control of your money. A plan is you telling your money what to do instead of wondering where it all went at the end of your pay period, right? So we're going to go over these steps: reviewing your expenses, setting goals, tracking spending, making a new plan, setting up accounts, and following your plan. Now, I'm going to say we don't have a lot of time. So all of your questions, you guys have pen and paper, write it down. We will take the questions at the end because I want to make sure we get through all of the tools that we have for you to create this new plan for 2020. The first thing we're going to start with is reviewing. This is a fantastic time to go in and review all of your finances. First thing we're going to start with is your income. How many people have actually looked at their paycheck stub in the past 5 months? Fantastic. Anybody who has it, I want you to pull that out. You have to go online, print it out, I don't care, but I want you looking at what all of those initials stand for. What are you paying for in taxes? What are you paying for in your 401k? Does your company match your contributions? If you don't know, contact your HR and find out. I want you looking at everything that's coming out of your paycheck. This is also a fantastic time to look at your tax situation, okay? People get all excited about getting these big, huge tax returns back, and it just bugs me because here's what I think about it. This is the idea, okay? You're gonna go to the grocery store and you think, I'm gonna spend $100. So you grab a $100 bill and you go to the grocery store, you put everything into your cart and you go check out and they ring you up and, oh, you've got a gift card and you've got coupons and you only owe $50. You did some good shopping, right? And you hand your $100 bill to the cashier and she says, thank you very much. I'll give you your $50 back next year. Would you guys go back to that grocery store? Why? Thank you. I've got more things to spend my money on, right? That's my money. Give it to me now. Don't give it to me next year. That's all a tax return is. You're estimating how much you owe in taxes. They take it out of every single paycheck. At the end of the year, you go to your tax person, your grocery cashier. They take all your deductions, all your credits, and they give you your change back. In the meantime, they're not giving you any dividends for it. They're just holding it. If you have credit card debt that you're paying 26.99%, if you cannot afford to put money into your 401k or your retirement plan, which mine is earning 19%, that is not the best use of your income, right? So let's take a look at what came out in taxes last year. Tax situation has changed a little bit, but this year should be about the same as last year. Look at what you got back and make some changes. If you got back $1,000, that's $84 a month of your income that they are holding and giving it back to you at the end of the year. Okay, so make some changes. I also want you to pay attention. If you have a job where you get tips, I want you to look at what's going in your pocket and what's going out. If you have no idea, track it. If you're getting reimbursements, I want you to monitor. That's one of those other things that you get $50 back for mileage reimbursement, goes into your account, out of your account. If I get $50, that's $600 a year. That is part of my income. I want to create a plan for that and not wonder where it went. The next thing we're going to do, really, really good time, is take a look at the value of your assets. It's a brand new year. How many people have looked at the Kelley book value of their car in the past 6 months? Fantastic. Did you guys know it changes in November? So I want you to go back in January. This is a really good time. I'm going to email this to everybody. Everybody's going to have a copy of this PowerPoint, and I want you to go in and write down the value of your home. Write down the value of your car. Write down the value of anything that you have a title to, because that has value that we can use for something else. Same thing with your investments. I want you looking at what you have in your investment, in your 401k, in your IRA. What is it earning? Because this is information that can help you make more informed decisions. If I get an extra $1,000 and my 401k is earning 19%, and I have a credit card debt that I'm paying 29.99%, where is that money going to help me more? Don't put more money into my retirement plan right now. If I have credit card debt that's really, really high and I pay that off, that's a guaranteed return of 29.99%. You cannot invest anything guaranteed at 29.99%. So having this information is going to help you make more informed financial decisions. We're also going to look at your debts that you have against those assets. If you have a car loan, how much longer do you have? What's the interest rate? What's the balance? If you have a 401k loan, how much longer do you have? And really, what is the interest rate? And you also have to think about, if I have a $10,000 401k loan, my 401k made 19% last quarter. So any money I have in that loan is not earning 19%. I don't know if you guys know that. Money that you have in a loan is not earning those dividends. So you have to, again, weigh what makes the most sense for you. Now we're going to go into the fun part. Let's talk about looking at our expenses. Fixed expenses and variable expenses. We're going to talk about the fixed ones first. What we're going to do is you're going to start writing things down. I want you to go through your statements and look at what is coming out. What do you pay every single month without fail, has a due date, it's the same amount, it doesn't change the more you use it. What kind of bills do you guys have on a monthly basis that has a due date that doesn't change the more you use it? Think about what are some of your fixed expenses. Rent is a huge one. Welcome to San Diego, right? 2-bedroom costs $1,100 to $1,600. It's crazy. What else? Car payment. Yes. What else? Yes. What else? Student loans. Yes. What else? Yeah. Okay. Now let's go smaller. Let's think about these little ones that come out that we don't think about. Netflix. Yes. What else? Amazon Prime. Yes. Music. Yes. Gas is a variable one, but let's talk about how about gym memberships? Anybody got gym memberships that go directly to your credit card and you never look at it? Okay, so we're writing all of these little things down because you might think it's only $11.99, it's only $4.99, but you add all those up, next thing you know, $100 of your paycheck is gone and you have no idea where it went. So we're writing all of our monthly fix, and this is a really good time. Again, let's talk about 2020. This is a fantastic time to do a deep dive into your statements. What are you paying for? I want you to print out all 30 pages of your cell phone bill and look at it. And what are you paying for? I had a guy come in who's been paying $100 for 2 cell phones and a hotspot that he hasn't had in 2 years because he wasn't paying attention. The bill always got paid. He was paying for 500 minutes when he only ever used 50, right? So this is where you're going to go in and make sure that you are using what you're paying for and not paying for things you're not using. Okay? Also a good time to call around and get some comparisons. I've been with Verizon for 10 years. Never had a problem. I was paying $97 because I finally got tired of getting really, really close to the minutes. I have to shut it off. I can't call anybody. I can't talk to anybody because I'm really close to the 500 minutes. Like, I'm just going to go unlimited. But I called around, and with this other company, Sprint, I moved my whole family over. We've got free iPhones. They paid me $100 for having an account at a credit union, and my bill is $36 a month for the first year. It'll go to $46 after the first year. I'm saving a lot of money, and I got a free phone out of it, and they gave me $100. If I didn't look around, I wouldn't be aware of this, right? So the January is a really good time to go in and really take a look at what you're paying for. Same thing with your car insurance. I refer people over to Wabanesa. If you have no accidents and no tickets, Wabanesa is a really good company. Almost everybody I've ever sent to them has saved money. Okay, so go and call 2 or 3 different insurance companies. Make sure that you're getting what you're paying for. Make sure that you're with a good company. I don't want you to go to some, hole in the wall place that's not going to pay you anything. But I want you to make sure that you're getting the most bang for your buck, right? And if you don't want to go through the hassle of changing your insurance company, I get that. Call these other companies and call your company back. Look, 3 other companies are going to offer me the same thing for $20 less. Come on. help a sister out. And usually they will match for you, okay? So we're gonna go through and you're gonna look at all of your statements. It's also a fantastic time to look at your beneficiaries on all of the things that you have on your bank accounts, on your credit union accounts, on your life insurance accounts, because this is one of those ones. I'm an ex-wife. I can't tell you how many people ex-wives come in, like the guy's remarried, has 5 kids, but they never change the beneficiary, so the ex-wife gets all the money. So make sure that you're looking at your accounts and updating this at least once a year, okay? Let's talk about variable expenses. These are things that you have to do to live. You're not going to get away in this life without paying these variable expenses, but you can spend more or less depending on how much you use them. So what are some things you have to do to live that you can spend more or less on? Groceries, yes. I can go to the grocery discount store and spend $100, or I can go to Sprouts and spend $500, right? I have a choice, but I have to eat. So I have to spend this money. The average person spends $250 a month for groceries. And that's including toilet paper and toothpaste and stuff like that too. Every additional person in the family is another $150, okay? So that is a normal average price. What else do you have? You have a car? Yes, I can ride a bicycle or I can drive a Humvee. I have choices. I can go up to Los Angeles every single weekend, or I can stay home and never go anywhere. But I have to spend money on gas. I spend $50 to fill my gas tank once a week on a hybrid, so $200 of my money every month is going towards gasoline. I got to put that down, okay? What's another one? Anybody been to Starbucks? I'm gonna throw that out there. Meals out is something that people tend to spend double what they think they spent. When I started writing all my things down, I thought I spent $50. That wasn't right. But I want you thinking about all those trips. If you put $1 in the vending machine for water every day, that's $30 a month just for water, just for soda. Okay, so we're thinking about where this money is going. Another one is SDG&E, right? We have to do this, but I can turn everything off or I can have everything on. One of my favorite tricks is if you have anything plugged in, it is drawing a current 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I did this little experiment and I unplugged everything and I got power strips for my TV and my computer. And when I'm sleeping or at work, I turn all the power strips off. I unplug my washer and dryer. I unplug my toaster oven. I even unplug my microwave oven. My bill went from $150 down to $49. It's $100 more in my pocket every single month because I'm not paying for energy while I'm sleeping, right? So looking at your usage, looking at your water bill, go online. There are tons of ideas of how to reduce what you're spending for water. So these are things we have to do. We're writing them down, but I want you paying attention and looking at your usage. This is my favorite category, and I gotta be careful because I go over here a lot. Periodic expenses. So I've been doing this for 11 years. Periodic expenses is where debt comes from because we don't think about these things that happen sometimes, but they happen in our lives. So let's talk about some of those things that we have. Fixed periodic expenses. Same thing as the fixed monthly. It's things that happen once or twice, has a due date. The amount doesn't change much. So what kind of things do you guys have that you pay once a year? What is that? Property taxes. Oh, that's a big one. People are so surprised when property taxes come up and people come in and get loans for their property taxes. You know it's coming. It's not a surprise. So let's set up a plan for that. What else? A car? Association fees, yes. What else? Registration fees, yes. Anybody got Amazon Prime? Anybody at Costco? Anybody at timeshare? Anybody got P.O. Box? Yep, I got all that. So I have an annual fees account. I'm putting that into my plan, okay? Variable expenses. Let's talk about variable expenses. We're gonna go into this. All right. Is that the one I wanted? Oh, wait, come back. Here we go. Auto expenses. This is a really good one because everybody has a car, right? Most people have a car. This is the one that people always put it on the budgeting sheets, but they forget about these things because they only happen occasionally. I just paid $600 for wheel bearings and a motor mount on my sweet little 2012 Ford Fusion Hybrid, and $350 for 2 tires. And I had to get an oil change, and I had to get an alignment. Oil changes, $40 3 times a year. Tires, and this is a newer car. My car is way more expensive than this. 30,000-mile checkup, regular maintenance, windshield wipers, batteries, brakes, and then my DMV renewal. So it's $1,260 a year for auto expenses. And if I'm not thinking about that, that's $105 a month that I have to include in my plan, right? If I don't, and oh yeah, I gotta get tires in 6 months, I don't have the money, I'm gonna go to discount tire because it's 0% for 6 months, but I don't pay it off in 6 months, and then it's 26.99%, right? Okay, so here's another example. Home expenses. Everybody's got a cell phone, right? How long do cell phones last? About 2 years. Supposedly 2 years, unless you're me and you drop your cell phone in the only puddle of water for 2 miles around during a drought. And then 6 months later, you're going to volunteer and it falls out of your pocket and you lose it. And then 6 months later, you're filling your water bottle and the handle drops straight onto your cell phone and cracks it to smithereens. I went through 3 cell phones in 1 year, right? So cell phone in 2 years, average cost is about $500. I know there's ones out there for $1,000. I would never do it. $21 a month. That's part of my plan. How many got to get a computer? They don't last forever, right? Okay. How about let's think about your house. What are things you have to replace in your house that don't last forever? Everything. Right? Everything has to be replaced. I have to get a new TV. I'm going to get a new mattress. I'm going to get a new sofa. I mean, maybe not for 10 years, but I'm going to have to replace it. If I'm a homeowner, I've got the refrigerator and the washer and dryer and the water heater and the garbage disposal and the windows and the backyard and all these other things that go along with owning a home. So this is breaking down decor. This is, I get picture frames. I get candles. I have to make my place look nice. This is all part of my life. It's $116, $13.92 annually. I get paid every 2 weeks, so it's $54 paycheck, $106 a month, part of my plan, right? So there is one other thing, gift grid. I don't know if you guys all got this one. This is one of my favorite little handouts, and I am happy to email an Excel version of this to any of you who would like one because it does all the math for you. This is a manual one. So what you do with this is a calendar of events, and across the top you put the names of the people that you have spent money on. This is a fantastic time to do this. You just spent a lot of money at Christmas, right? And Thanksgiving and Halloween. And so this is a really good time to go in and take a look at what you spent and fill this sheet out, right? So we're gonna go down the list. New Year's Day. Anybody spend any money on New Year's Day, New Year's Eve? Go with friends, go out with family? I did too, it was so much fun. Valentine's Day. Anybody buy any gifts, cards for Valentine's Day? Any candy? I did too. My kids are 28. Yes, I still do Easter baskets and Valentine's Day gifts. Mardi Gras. Anybody go out for Mardi Gras? I did. Had a great time. Easter. Anybody got kids? Okay. Oh yeah. So my daughters, they had to have Easter dresses and Easter baskets and Easter bonnets and Easter dye and Easter eggs and Easter decoration and Easter dinner, right? So Easter kind of got expensive. Mother's Day, cards, gifts, flowers for mom. Memorial Day, we barbecue. There's a general expense, spend about $200. Father's Day, dad doesn't get anything. 4th of July, we barbecue. I spend about $200 for 4th of July. Halloween, anybody buy a costume for Halloween? Okay, so your name is gonna go first at the top of this list, and then you're gonna go down. I spent money on a costume, but then the general expense for the holiday was I bought candy to give out to the kids. I got decorations. We had a Halloween party. Yes, we host a lot of things at our house. So the finger food, get it? Finger food? Okay, sorry, bad joke. Christmas. Okay, so this is, I used to go crazy at Christmas. I used to spend close to $600 each on my daughters. And then my ex-husband, divorced for 20 years, I'd get gifts for him, his wife, their 2 kids, his mom, his dad, his sister, and their 3 kids. I really love Christmas, right? So Then we have the events, anniversaries. People who celebrate their anniversaries are going out for dinner, got, you know, new rings. Let's see what else. Birthdays, graduations. I always plan one graduation, one wedding, one baby shower because they always come up. And then work parties. I swear we potluck here every single week. I gained 20 pounds my first month of working here. Our manager made these little cake balls and we were the testers. And then birthday parties for the kids, right? So the 1-year-old who has to have the jumpy and the ponies. So once you complete this, you're going to have a total that's going to go on this periodic expense calculator, which is another handout that I have up here that I will also be happy to send to you. So this is the part that I love because this is, I think, what sets us apart from other budgeting people, because we are creating a plan for those future expenses, a plan for the periodic. And I'm going to break it down and I'm going to include this in my plan. Household repair and items, medical, dental, vision. Anybody been in the ER or gone to urgent care or had an ambulance ride in the past 2 years? What's the copay? $100. I had to go into the hospital for 3 days for a blood infection, $300 copay each day, $900 out of pocket. Okay, these things happen. These are the unexpected things. My brother, love him. He thought it was a cool idea to ride his bike down the steps at school. Fell and broke his collarbone. Love him. I also play volleyball, and I slipped and fell while I was hiking, and my shoulder was hanging on by a thread. So I had to get physical therapy. So I also wear contacts. Okay. I also go to the dentist and they tell me, oh, it's going to be a $400 copay, right? So these things are part of your normal everyday thing. Auto repairs, auto insurance, vacation travel, clothing, shoes, socks. Anybody a runner in here? How much is one pair of shoes? 30 bucks. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. How much are yours? $80. Volleyball, mine's 100. And I have to get a new pair every year. Runners, like the really expensive ones, who like the track and field ones, are like $80 to $100, and they replace it every 6 months. Soccer, cleats, all that stuff. Gifts, holidays, we talked about that. Hair, cosmetics, fun. Anybody gone to a concert in the past year? How much is your ticket? $100. How much? Who else went? For free. Aw, we need to be friends with her. How much was yours? 500. You want to do that again though, right? Yeah, I love concerts. I'm going to Blake Shelton in February. I'm going to go to En Vogue next week. I'm really excited. I'm dating myself. No, anybody know who En Vogue is? Thank you. Okay, I'm not alone. Love En Vogue. Anybody ever heard of Whose Line Is It Anyway? Okay, I went and saw the live version last year. Front row tickets. Colin called on me. It was so much fun. I'm going to do that. That's part of my plan. I want to enjoy my life. So I have that incorporated into my expenses, okay? Because $100 for a ticket is expensive coming out of one paycheck. But if I do $25 a month, you know, $18 a paycheck, I could do that. Easy. Okay, creditor statements. This is where I want you to go in and take a look at your statement. You're going to have to print this out. They vary the interest rate on the 4th page, way down deep where you can't see it because most of them are pretty high. But I want you looking at your creditor statements. What is the minimum payment? What is the interest rate? What is the current balance and what is your limit? Because when we set up a plan to get you debt-free, all of this information is going to impact the choices that you make, okay? If my goal is to be debt-free as quickly as I can, I need to know the interest rates. I'm going to line them up in the order of the highest interest rate to the lowest. I'm going to pay just the minimum to all the lower ones and attack that high interest rate one and get it gone. And then I'm going to go after the next one on the list. That's the best way to get debt free. There's a really cool website called powerpaid.org where you can see how that works. My $46,000 was going to take me 10 years and 7 months. With PowerPay, 3 years and 5 months, completely debt free. Okay, it's a really cool website. Now, if my goal is to improve my credit score because I have a house or something that I can use as equity, I need to look at the balance to limit. 30% of your credit score is based on having every single balance less than 30% on every single credit card. right? So if I have maxed out $500 and $1,000 limit credit cards and I want to improve my credit score, I'm not going to look at the interest rates. I'm going to attack that $500 credit card balance, get it below 150. As soon as that gets reported, my score goes up 15 to 20 points. So I keep going after that balance to limit. How quickly can I get each card below that 30% balance to limit? Now, if my goal is to open my cash flow, I am struggling. I'm eating top ramen the day before I get paid because I have no money left. If I owe $1,000 on a car loan and I owe $1,000 on a credit card, my minimum payment on the car loan is $250 and my credit card is $25. If I pay off the credit card, even though it's the highest interest rate, $25, I can maybe buy a little pepper for my top ramen, but not a lot left, right? If I pay off the car loan, I've got $250. I can buy some chicken. I can buy some fish. I have a little more food. It's going to be really easier for me to meet my monthly needs. Okay, so it all depends on what your goal is. You have to have this information before you can make that informed decision. What is debt costing you? You've got all your statements out from the last step. I want you looking at your last payment. How much of your payment went towards interest and how much went towards the principal? I want you writing this down. And this is a really cool payment amount, how much the interest, how much the principal. You're going to total it up and it's going to curdle your stomach when you see that bottom number. So much of your payment goes towards interest unless you have 0% credit cards, and it's money that you're throwing away, right? Because you didn't plan ahead for those periodic expenses. So we're going to talk about how to create those plans. Next step, that was all step one, huge step. Step two, figure out what you want to do, right? What do you want your money to do for you? What does it mean in your mind to be financially successful, financially fit? Does it mean you have your house paid off, that you can own your own business, that you can retire when you're 60 instead of 65, that you can go on any vacation that you want, wherever you want, anytime? What does it mean? And then I want you to set up a goal to get there. And I'm not talking about, I need to save more. Great, you put $25 in your savings account. Hooray for you, you've reached that goal because you saved more. That's not what you meant, right? How about I want to save 3 months worth of monthly expenses in an account in 6 months, okay? I have a time frame, it's specific, I can measure my progress, I plug it into my plan, I can totally do that, and I can check that mark off because I can have a time frame that I can measure my progress, okay? So when you're setting up a goal, I want it to be really specific. Not I want to take a vacation, it's I want to go to Tuscany in 2 years and have $4,000 saved up for that. Okay, I have a time frame, I have a dollar amount, I can measure my progress, and I can break it down into more easily managed steps. Okay, that's a really important part of setting up a plan. Because if you don't have a plan and you have this goal and you don't have a plan, it's just a wish. You know, you're not, it's going to be a lot more difficult to reach that goal if you don't have a plan to achieve it. Step 3, tracking. This is my least favorite part of what we do. I lose a lot of people here. The tracking is so tedious, but I can tell you how important any financial person you ever talk to is going to tell you, you have to track your spending. Here's why. When I wrote down all my monthly expenses, I thought I spent $300 on groceries, maybe $50 on meals out. We don't go out that often. And then I tracked. And oh yeah, we go to Soup Plantation every single Sunday. And oh yeah, we get pizza after soccer practice. And oh yeah, we go get frozen yogurt after Girl Scouts. And oh, I bring donuts or bagels to work at least once a week. Oh yeah, and oh yeah, and oh yeah. Next thing I know, $250 a month of my income is going out the door for all this meals out. And I had no idea. And when I tracked the groceries, $600, which is more reasonable for a family of 3. But I didn't know. So you have to track to get this awareness of where your money is going, because you can't make any changes if you don't have this awareness. So there are all these great tools, and I actually have an Excel sheet that you can use. These ones that you see, the iPhone, the Mint, the online, those are really great once you have a plan in place. But if you guys go to Costco, what can you buy at Costco? Everything. Perfect answer. Thank you. All that's going to show up on your statement is Costco, right? I got $40 back and I went to the movies. Still going to just say Costco. If I go to Target, what can you buy at Target? Everything. I can live under their roofs and never leave. I got everything I need, but all that's going to show up is Target. So it's not going to be a very accurate representation of where my money is going. You have to track every dime going out the door at least 3 months, because whatever happened in December isn't happening in January, right? So you have to get 3 months to really get a good feel of what your expenses are. Because I lived on Thanksgiving food for about a month. So my January was a little bit different. So tracking is really, really vital, really vital. I challenge you guys to do this for the next 3 months, okay? Now we're gonna actually create the plan. And we have a sheet. I have a plan for that. We're gonna go in, this is an example. So at the top here, we have the income. We're writing down how much I actually get to spend, my net income. I did my periodic expense calculator and it's telling me how much I need to set aside for those periodic expenses. That's the very first thing I do because it's part of my plan. I'm setting money aside for my emergency savings. We're going to go over why that's important. I'm setting money aside for my retirement. That's really important too. I have my monthly fixed. I have my monthly variable. I have my credit card payments. And my bottom line on here is positive. Here's an example. It's not the same example, but it's an example. And it shows my bottom line is positive. Now, if it's negative, welcome to San Diego, right? This is pretty normal, especially when you throw those periodic expenses in there because we haven't really thought about that before. So most people who come in and work with me have a negative cash flow. There are only 2 things you can do, guys, to make that positive. Only 2 things. If I'm spending more than I'm bringing in, I have to either A, earn more income, or B, spend less. So I have all these choices about what I want my money to do. Now here's where we go in, and because I have a goal, I can go in and take a look at my spending. I've tracked. I know that I'm spending $250 on meals out, and I've had enough muffins in my lifetime. I don't really need to go to Soup Plantation anymore, right? So I can go in and say, okay, I cannot go to Soup Plantation and take that $120 and put it in my vacation fund because my goal is $2,000 a year for vacations. I want to create memories for me and my daughters. I grew up with not a lot. We didn't get to go a lot of places. And I just went to Costa Rica about 5 years ago. I did zip lining with the howler monkeys. Oh my gosh, you guys, it was so much fun. We went to England and I saw Stonehenge. It was amazing with the sun setting. Fantastic memories. I want more of that, right? So I have a choice. If I spend $250 on more muffins, I can't go. So I have this muffins or Maui question, right? I have soup or I have Spain. Once you have a goal, you're going to look at your spending that way. And now you can make some choices about where your money goes, because that's all this is. Once you have a goal and you know where your money is going, you have a choice. I can continue the way I was and continue getting deeper into debt, or I can make some changes and have a positive cash flow, including all of my expenses. Step 5. This is one of my favorite things about CalCoast. I have 7 different savings accounts, and I have titles on all of them. I have given my money a purpose, and I know that's what the money is for. I have an auto savings. I completed that grid. I know that I need $50 a paycheck. So going into my auto repair savings, the automatic transfer, every single pay period, it's the first thing that happens. I have a vacation savings. I have my gift and holiday that I completed my gift grid. I know how much I need. When I completed mine, $4,600. That's why I was in debt. So I went and I did make some changes. I'm not being quite so giving. Home savings, my fund savings. I'm going to the San Diego County Fair. That's part of my life. Health savings, pet savings. Anybody have pets in here? Yeah. Anybody had an expense higher than $100 in the past 2 years? Yeah. Thistle gets in the ear and it gets infected. Okay. Or they pass away. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, but it happens, right? You got to plan for it. Annual fees. I've got all these savings and it's part of my plan. Pay yourself first. Emergency savings. Anybody know anybody who's been out of a job in the past 2 years? I've lost my job before, not because I was a bad employee. I'm a really good employee, but they were just letting people go. You know, they consolidate, they start letting people go. If you don't have money in a savings account to cover your expenses, you are not financially fit. If you are in immediate financial distress, if you lose your job next month, you are not financially fit. You have got to incorporate an emergency savings. I had back surgery in 2008. I was out of work for a year, guys. I would have lost everything if I didn't have some money set aside. I had a car accident. It was not my fault. The guy ran a red light, but I was out of work with a concussion for about 4 months. If I'm in immediate distress and I can't pay my bills, that's not a good place to be, right? Retirement savings is another one of my favorites. The sooner you start, the more you will have. And it's not just because I'm putting more aside, it's because now we've got interest working in your favor. If I start saving $84 a month at age 50, because I'm not worried about retirement until I'm 50, right? I'm going to be hale and hearty working till I'm 100. I'll have $28,000 in 15 years. Woohoo! $15,000 earned me 28. I am not retiring, right? Or I go $84 a month at age 20, the same $15,000 contribution for the same 15 years. I let it sit and grow. I'll have $287,000 for the same $15,000 contribution because I didn't wait. It's another example. This one blew my mind. Carrie starts $5,000 a year at age 25, does it for 10 years. Chris waits, again, he's hale, he's hearty, he doesn't need to worry about it. He waits until he's 35 to start doing $5,000 a year. He does it for 3 times longer. He gets half. He did 3 times as much for 3 times as long and gets half because he waited. So don't wait. If your company offers 401k, start taking advantage of it. Tell your kids if they're 18 years old and working, start now because then they can help you with your retirement. I'm just saying. Step 6, last step. This is, you have to follow your plan, right? You've come in and you know what you want your money to do and you've tracked it, you know where it's going. And if you come in and something comes up that takes you away from that plan, do you want this or do you need this? That's my favorite question, right? Is it helping me reach my goals? Because now you know what you want to accomplish. So if I go to Soup Plantation and spend $30, it's coming out of my vacation fund. How badly do I need those muffins? What is the worst thing that's going to happen if I don't spend this extra money, right? Is there another way? There are always ways. Talk to your friends, Google, there's always ways to make things happen, but make sure you are aware of where your money is going. Make sure that you have a plan in place to reach your goals. Make sure you have a goal. You know, what's your financial goal? What do you want to do? Where do you want to be in 5 years? It's really cool to work towards something and not be on a budget all the time. All right, so now we are going to open the door for some questions. Just raise your hand if you have any question about anything that we've touched on. We're going to have someone come around with a microphone in just a moment. I caught them by surprise. It ended fast. There we go.
Hi. So I'm wondering, what is the difference between an annual percentage rate and an interest rate? I'm confused by that.
That is a really detailed question on credit. So leave me my phone number so that it accrues over time. So you're paying interest on the daily balance. And then depending on how much you carry at the time, it will over time add up to a little bit higher usually. So call me. I have actually a printout on that one. That's kind of a more detailed question. Who else?
One of my real goals is to travel more. Costa Rica's top of the list. And I just get stuck trying to figure out an amount. It's like, what do I need to do that in a year, 2 years, whatever? You know, I have a travel account, but you know, I'm retired. It's not much is accumulating.
It depends on what you want to do, right? I mean, there are people who go and spend $5,000 on one trip for a week, or I can go to the same place and I can stay in B&Bs and I can share my room with 8 people and I can go on all the free things that are in that country and I can spend $1,000. So you have to look at what it is you want to do, price it out, and then put that into your plan and see, can I do $200 a month? Can I do $300? If I want to go in a year and I plug $400 into my plan and I can't do it, then maybe I need to do 2 years and spread that out. It really depends on where you want to go, how much it's going to cost, what you want to do. It's a lot of variables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Talk to a travel agent and they'll give you a better idea kind of which route you want to go.
Yeah, back here.
Where?
Hi.
Hi.
Tip, Belize is cheaper than Costa Rica, and it's kind of
Where?
the same.
Where?
Belize.
Belize.
It's just a little bit
Yes.
north. It's
There were
cheaper,
a
same
lot
kind of thing.
Mosquitoes in Belize.
Call me. Okay. How long did it take you from your 46,000 credit card debt to like?
So I still owe 4,000 because I had back surgery, I had Bell's palsy, I had 3 blood infections, I had a car accident, I had shoulder surgery, I've had my daughter who's going to get back surgery. So there's been a lot of things. My physical therapy on my shoulder was $400 a month, $100 a week. I played volleyball. I needed this back. So during that year, I didn't put anything extra towards my debt. I just paid the minimum. And I wasn't able to go on vacation because I was paying $400, right? But I'm back on track. I got my money going in there now. So yeah, I still owe a little bit of money left, but it's at 0% now because my credit score is really high. So I'm okay with that. It is hard. It's when you go in and things happen that you're not expecting, but you know, I was able to go in and rearrange things and make sure at least I was still paying my debt down. I just couldn't pay it off completely in the 3 years and 5 months because I've had so many things happen. It's kind of a joke with my friends, like, hey, what happened this year? There's been so much medical stuff. Was that? Yeah. It was very disheartening because I feel like I'm getting back on track and something else knocks me off again. And it's like, okay, let's go back and look at my cash flow. This is still my goal. What do I have to do? If I increase one expense, I've got to decrease something else. It's been really, really hard. So yeah, I still have a little bit, but it's going down. Yes.
So you talked about defining your goals and whether it's to have more cash or equity or bring your credit score down. I'm assuming you'd want to bring your credit score down if you're expecting to have a large expense, like, you know, going after a house or a mortgage or, you know, refinancing, that sort of thing. So how many months typically do you need to bring those amounts down under the 30% before your scores go up? And for how long do you typically need to sustain that in order for you to go in, let's say, and apply for a new credit card and get a really good rate, or call your own credit card and have them lower the rate?
750 and above is when you're going to get the best rates on everything. So my goal is always to have all 3 of your credit bureaus above 750, because then I have all the options available to me. As soon as you have a balance reported less than 30%, your score goes up, because your score is based on the information that's on that credit report. So as soon as it's reported, I get the extra points. So if you're trying to buy a house or something, you have to look at, you want to score at least above 700, but 750 and above. I wouldn't want to apply for a house until my score is above 750. I would want to make sure that my debt to income ratio is low enough. So now I'm looking at the minimum payments, because if I owe $100, my minimum payment is $25, they're going to include that in my debt to income ratio. I'm not going to qualify for as much. So there's a lot of factors going into play depending on what you're trying to do. If I'm trying to buy a house, I want debt to income low. I also want to have those my credit score high so that I can get the best rates and best options. So it's another big picture. Yeah. Oh, who else?
You said 750 gives you the best rates. What does it mean? As far as I know, I have really high scores. However, my rate on the statements is still 26%. And I always pay it off, but I didn't last month. So now I'm in debt and I'm like, ouch, this really hurts me.
Department store cards are usually over 20%.
No, it's bank cards.
But even a bank card. So you have to reapply for them to, if you have a high score now, if at the time you got the card, you had a lower score, they would give you whatever their current rates are. Okay. It's also, the rate is based on what the situation is at that time, right? So credit unions typically will have lower interest rates on our credit cards because we're a nonprofit company, where the banks are for profit. So you're going to have higher interest rates at banks typically. Okay. So if you have a high score, you can go apply for another credit card that maybe has a 0%, And then once that 0% ends, it goes to 9.9, 11.9. There are options out there, but it's based
Okay.
on your rate at the time you apply. They don't automatically change the rate if your score goes up. That's not how they make their money. So they will keep you at whatever rate you are at the time you applied. And you have to be aware that if you apply, it's a hard hit. It's going to cost you some points. So
That would be okay. If it's,
yeah, if you can go from 20% down to 10%, absolutely. So look around. There's a couple of websites I use. It's comparecards.com or Nerd Wallet, which I love that name. Nerd Wallet. It's a fantastic name. They will go in, and depending on what you're trying to do, they'll give you all these options. CalCoast has a 2.88% with no balance transfer fee right now. So it's a pretty good credit card to get started. And then at the end of that time frame, I think it's 18 months, it'll go to, depending on what your credit score is, I think the highest is like 15.99. So it's a really good credit card with us. Yeah, so talk to me about that.
Thank you.
If anybody has, we got 5 more minutes before we close, and I know there's a lot of people online. We're going to answer those questions afterwards. My business card is here on the table. So if you have any questions that we don't get to, please call me, please email me. I am happy to send you the PowerPoint. I am happy to send you the Excel versions of all the handouts that we do. There is also at the end a workshop evaluation, if you guys wouldn't mind completing that for us, to let us know what topics you're interested in. If you liked the information, if we missed anything, just let us know. Continue with the questions. Sorry, just wanted to get that out. Go in the back.
Oh, I just want to comment. You pay 0 on all my credit cards. I pay 0. You just pay it off every month.
Yes.
That is really important. I may have a 23%.
That's not what people do. People don't do that.
Well,
and that's the ideal way is you use it, you pay it off every month. That's
I figure
absolutely what I
if I
want
can't
to do.
afford it,
Yeah.
I don't buy.
I have a credit card that I get points on. I get 5% back when I buy things on Amazon. So I'll buy things on Amazon and then that same day pay it off. I get 3% back on my credit card for gas. I'll go to Costco, get the gas, and while I'm still sitting in the parking lot, pay that balance off. So I'm getting the points, they're paying me, and I am not being charged any interest. So that's the best way to handle credit cards. Yes.
Just looking over the periodic expense sheet, kids' activities is something that's really killing me right now. How would you suggest estimating that number? Because I really can't I have 2 kids, 9 and 10, and I swear every week there's something else that they have to be a part of. So how do I estimate high on that number? Or
if you're just starting off and you haven't really gone back and looked at the last year, so you've got all your statements for the last year. 2020, this is a fantastic time, January, to take a look at what you're spending in all those categories. If there's a summer camp, if they're doing soccer practice, if they're doing Girl Scouts, if they're doing all of those wonderful after-school activities, you should have a record of what you've done. And this is a really good time to kind of estimate and look forward and say, okay, I want to do this again, right? Or if they're in the club soccer or the club volleyball, all that stuff is really expensive. It's all choices. I have no problem. I don't care how you spend your money, right? People come in all the time. I'm going to tell them you can't go do this. I'm like, no, I don't care how you spend your money. If you want to go spend $1,000 at Soup Plantation to have a good time, but you can't complain if you don't have enough money to go on vacation because you're doing all the soup. So you have choices. And if you take a look at where the money has gone and you want to do that again, create that kids activity savings and start putting money aside and put more aside, right? So that you have that cushion if something comes up unexpectedly in their club and they're going to go to Europe for the weekend, you have the money set aside for it. Kids activities can really add up. So look at what you've done, set up that account, and start planning ahead for it for the next year. It depends on what your kids do and what you want to do with them.
All right,
Yeah.
we got time for one more question.
Go ahead.
Hi.
Hi.
How would you recommend merging these sheets? So we're about to get married.
Yay!
And I got my
Congratulations.
sheet, she's got her sheet. So do we merge it? Do we keep it separate? At what point do we do it together? Would you recommend doing it together?
Everybody handles that differently. I have some people who keep it completely separate. My money doesn't touch her money and it's done, right? And then I have some people who do everything together. If you have your own bills and you have your own bills and you want to pay the joint bills together, then you kind of go in and see, okay, I'm going to pay this bill, you're going to pay this bill. I have couples who have 3 sheets. They have one for you, one for her, and then a joint one where we both put $500 into the account, and we pay all these bills. Okay, so if you can do it all together and you guys can work it out together how you want to do it. If you want one single one together and you just put all your money into one account, you can do it that way. You can give yourself an allowance. So if you're like, I don't want her to know if I buy her a gift, you could say, okay, we're going to give each other $100 a month that we don't have to account for. And that way you guys each have your own money that you can do whatever you want to do with. It really, that's a conversation to have. A really good conversation to have when you guys get married is how do you guys want to handle the joint stuff, the individual stuff? That's totally an individual decision. But I have all the stuff for you, so happy to send it to you. Okay, again, business card. If you have questions that we did not get to because we ran out of time, please email me, please call me, my direct phone number, put me on your speed dial, make me a resource. I am happy to answer questions at any time. Thank you so much for attending today. We really appreciate everybody online too. Thank you so much.
Let's give Taralyn a big hand.